What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Full 90. It is time for the Serie A predictions, and I have to say we had another really good week in the Serie A last week. We actually correctly predicted a Roma score as well, which is increasingly difficult these days, but nevertheless, we have Serie A week 23 predictions. Thank you so much to all of you for the support on the channel, the new subscribers. I really do appreciate it. I love hearing your insights to these other leagues, these other teams in the comments. So if you fancy yourself as a bit of a Serie A Italian football expert, then by all means let me know your opinions of this game, week's fixtures in the comments. Flashing up on the screen all of the people that are supporting me over on the Full 90 Patreon. If you want to get access to exclusive members tips and accumulators, direct messaging access to me, as well as a shout out in every single video, then be sure to click that first link in the description to join there. I'm very excited for this game week. I think out of the three, La Liga, Serie A, and Bundesliga, I would say Bundesliga has been my most successful so far, but Serie A is very close. And Serie A is probably my favorite to predict. The games are really intriguing. I think there's a lot of value to be had. La Liga is quite difficult to predict, I would say, but I've had a lot of correct scores in that league, so it's interesting. And Bundesliga, there's a lot of goals. I feel like Serie A is the perfect storm of just exciting, close matches, and of course the title race. It's exciting, and I'm really looking forward to getting into it. And kicking it off, we have Parma up against Lecce. Now, last week we tipped AC Milan and both teams to score against Parma, which came in, and we tipped Inter Milan to win 2-0 against Lecce with a -1 handicap. We predicted 3-0 there. It was 4-0. We predicted, it was either 3-1 or 2-1 there, and we were very, very close with the perfect score there. I think Parma are actually going to win this one. I know they're on the same amount of points as Lecce. If you look at the table down here, Lecce in 18th on 20 points, Parma on 20 points as well. I think Parma win this one. I'm going to 2-1, and I really like the odds of Parma to win, 2.1. So I'm going to go for it. Parma to win 2-1 at odds of 2-1. After this, it's Monza up against Verona. This is a bit of a tricky one. I'm actually going to go for the home team here. I think Monza are going to be able to get a win. I know that's crazy. I know it is. But it's just a bit of a gut feeling. I'm going to go for a 2-1 win to Monza, and I'm going to tip Monza to win at 2.14. This might sound crazy. I know Monza are bottom of the league, but realistically, this is one of their best chances to pick up a win. Like, I mean, we've got this one win here against Fiorentina. I have no idea how they managed that, but the rest, as you can see, all L's, all L's, all L's, all L's. I think they need to get a win. It's do or die. I'm just going to go for it. Gut feeling, 2-1, Monza to win at 2.15. You could look at both teams to score. Absolutely, you could. But Verona themselves, they're winless in 4. You look here, they got the draw against Venezia. They lost to Lazio. They lost to Napoli. They drew with Udinese. They're not scoring many, right? But I'll just go Monza 2-1. I'm really excited to see how that one turns out. After this, it is Udinese up against the aforementioned Venezia. Udinese are a bit of a weird team. They're winless in 5, as you can see. Venezia winless in 5 as well. I'm just going to shade it to home form. I think it'll be low scoring, so I'm going to go for a 1-0 win. The tip is going to be under 2.5 goals at 1.8. I think the odds are pretty good there. If you look here, this was the correct score we got last week, 2-1 to Roma. I think Udinese bounced back with a 1-0 win. After this one, it's Atalanta up against Torino. I think this one's going to be pretty straightforward, but I don't think it's going to be an absolute goal fest. Atalanta have what is, in theory, a must-win game in the Champions League. I think if Atalanta draw to Barcelona, they might drop out of the top 8. If they win, they guarantee to make it. If they lose, they're going to be out of the top 8, in my opinion. I'm not sure if this video goes up before the Champions League or after. It might be on the day. The Champions League might be kicking off in a couple of hours after this video goes up. So it's do or die for them in the Champions League. I don't know if they're going to make top 8. I really don't with Atalanta. But one thing I am sure on is that they'll win this game. I'm going to go 2-0. But instead of 1.4 odds for an Atalanta win, I'm going to go Atalanta to win and under 3.5 goals at 2. So that's 1-2, 3-0 and 2-1. 4 score lines, 4 of the most likely score lines, I would say. And I think that's going to come in. After this, we have Bologna up against Como. Bologna drawing with Empoli in the last game week. I didn't expect that. I think I went a 1-0 away win to Bologna. Como losing to Atalanta 2-1. I did predict Atalanta and both teams to score against Como there, so that was a win. I'm going to go for another 2-1. This time to Bologna, 2-1. And the tip is going to be Bologna to win at 1.8. I don't think you need to add both teams to score, but Como, they love a goal. 4 against Udinese. They scored against AC Milan. They scored against Lazio. They scored 2 against Lecce. Inter 1-0, but, you know, Inter always win 2-0. So they've scored in every game this year, and I think they're going to score again. Bologna, 2 win, 1.8. After this, it's Juventus up against Empoli. No surprises here, no draws here. Juventus finally get a win after losing their unbeaten streak to league leaders Napoli. I'm going to go 2-0. And the tip is going to be Juventus win 2-0 at 1.83. Both teams to score no is 1.5. So you get an extra 0.3 just for saying Juve to win. I know they draw a lot of games and they've only won, obviously, the 8. But I think they win this one at home, 2-0. They have a very big game in the Champions League as well themselves against Benfica, but I think they're just better enough than Empoli, who only sit 1 point above the relegation zone. 2-0 to Juventus. After this, it's Fiorentina up against Genoa. Fiorentina, brilliant result beating Lazio. Genoa, brilliant result beating Monza. You've got to beat who's in front of you. Genoa got the win, 2-0 comfortably. Fiorentina, I think they're going to replicate that score that Genoa got, 2-0 to the home side. I'm not quite sure on what else to pick. I could go both teams to score no. You could go unders, but you never know. I'm going to go Fiorentina to win at 1.6. It's not the best odds in the world, but it's not terrible. Now, after this, we have the Milan Derby. AC Milan up against Inter Milan. Inter are having a better season. They are a better team than AC Milan, but AC Milan aren't bad. So I'm actually going to split the difference here and go for a 1-1 draw. The tip is going to be both teams to score at 1.66. I think Inter are much more disciplined with the ball, with possession. I think they will control this game, but at home for AC Milan, I just think they're going to find it from somewhere, right? And just get a 1-1 draw. I do think Inter are better. Like I said, I think they take care of the ball better. And I mean, that much was clear in this. 3-2 against Parma for AC Milan, 4-0 for Inter against Lecce. That kind of tells you all you need to know. Inter Milan should win this, but I'm going for a bit of a gut feeling draw. But the tip will be both teams to score at 1.66. And Inter rarely concede. They conceded to Empoli, which was crazy. Again, 2 against Bologna, but win 2-0, win 2-0, win 2-0, win 2-0. Like, Inter are barely conceding. So I'm going to go both teams to score 1-1 between the two teams here, which Napoli would benefit from the most. Speaking of which, it is Roma up against Napoli. I think the win streak continues. Roma, they've had some good form. They've won 4 of their last 6. They're unbeaten in their last 6, but Napoli, it's just straight W's. And I'm going to go for quite a convincing win, actually. 3-1 to Napoli. I'm going to tip Napoli to win at 2.37 because the odds are good enough. Napoli -1 is probably odds of about 4. Napoli and both teams to score is probably odds of about 4 or 5. I think you just need to be with Napoli for this one to win one way or another. I love the odds for an outright win. 3-1 to Napoli. After this, it's Cagliari up against Lazio. Lazio are the better team. Absolutely they are. Cagliari languishing in 15th. Lazio currently in the top 4. But I'm going to go for a draw. I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw. Cagliari, they're quite physical. I think they'll cause Lazio some problems. They're good for a goal here and there. So I'm going to go 1-1, and the tip is going to be both teams to score. I think this was a really disappointing performance from Lazio, and I'm going to say that they have a little bit of a blip here and draw 1-1 with Cagliari. A little recap of the scores. We've got big home wins for Parma and Monza. We've got Juventus winning 2-0, Fiorentina winning 2-0, honours even in the Milan Derby, Napoli to humble Roma, and Lazio to drop points away from home. Let me know your thoughts and predictions. If there's any you adamantly disagree with, let me know down in the comments. Subscribe while you're down there, drop a like, and that is going to do it, and I'll see you in the next video very soon.